Hi, this is Chris. Today I'm going to talk about the inside of an app, the code, and how it can be organized to achieve higher quality and to make it easier to maintain. There is nothing revolutionary about this approach. On the contrary, it has been used for many years to create great solutions on the server side. For the same reason that many systems on the server side have applied a three-tiered architecture, an app should also separate the concerns when handling presentation, logic, and information. Here is an overview of an app connecting to a server. And this is a simplification in two main tiers, the client and the server. But note that the same separation of concerns or responsibility is present in both the app and on the server. Starting from the top of the device, we have the user interface that consists of the actual layout with visual elements such as controls as well as the interaction and navigational logic. It uses the app-dependent or independent logic, which is like business rules, and the data tier handle the app information in the form of entities, network operations to access remote services, and maybe even local storage. Spanning all the tiers are the common services such as security and utilities. On the server side, the service interface publishes the functionality in the form of clearly defined contracts, and the other tiers are similar in responsibility as on the device. Of course, the server can in turn call other services, and that's exactly what usually happens in omni-channel services. The role of the user interface components is to provide the best user experience possible. This is a huge subject and not within the scope of this video, but it's not only about something that looks good, but also that feels good, which includes that it performs well. The user interface components should know about each other, they should know about the data in the form of entities, and they should know about the logic components or the domains. But the user interface should never know about networks, URLs, protocols like JSON, or even key value pairs derived directly from JSON. They shouldn't have to worry about how data is persistently stored or cached or any other lower level logic. The entities are the representation of data in the form that makes sense to the app. It may have the exact same structure as the data retrieved from the server, and when you're using omnichannel services you can come really close, but may have a different structure that better suits the app. For example, the app's entity may add an attribute that is only valid for the app, which could be a flag that something is a favorite, which is only stored on the device. The entities also know how to parse the raw data, which could be the JSON from the server, to populate its attributes. And that also includes any related entities. For example, an order entity will probably use order row entities to parse the data. The entities will probably not implement much logic, with the exception of derived attributes and any entity-related rules, and should not know anything about either the user interface or what the operations know. The operations make the network calls to services on the server side. They handle all the logic that is involved in the network request, like HTTP return codes, authentication, exceptions, response caching, and so on. They also initiate the parsing of data to entities. Just as the user interface should not know anything about what operations know, the operations should not know anything about the user interface or entity internals. So finally, the idea behind the domain components is to implement the logic for a specific business domain. It could be an order, and then the domain would know about a number of operations and entities, for example, order details, order rows, the customer, delivery address. Domains will manage both the data and the logic related to the cluster of entities and operations that form the business domain. This also includes the caching and refresh of that data using any kind of storage, which could be a database or the file system. The user interface uses domains to get the data and the logic they implement, but domains doesn't know anything about the user interface. Okay, so there you have the basic anatomy of an app and how the code can be organized to achieve higher quality and to make it easier to maintain. And with that, I wish you the best of luck in creating great apps. Thank you.